All right. All right. Testing, testing.
I love it.
One, two, three. Testing, testing. Don't fuck with me. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Testing, testing. One, two, three.
Show.
Testing, testing. Don't fuck with me. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Let me just send out the bat signal. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Just making sure all my audio is correct. Gonna let people matriculate into the live, into the audience. We've got a lot of topics to discuss. Let me not say a lot of topics. I would say probably about 3 or 4, honestly, because the last couple months, the last like 3 months, honestly, have just been so jam packed full of fuck shit. We have people still in denial over Drake getting embarrassed in a rap battle. We have people still in their feelings about that shit. I'm not gonna name any names because I don't fucking feel like it. I don't get paid to do internet beef, so not ever gonna engage that. Then we have, Jim Crow Joe finally turning up his cape and saying I can't do this anymore. Even though that was pretty obvious to anybody who watched him on the presidency trail. Sup, Lion? How you doing, Lion? Everybody, as you come in, drop a like, drop a share, comment how your weekend's been so far, how your summer's been so far. We are in the last quarter of 2024. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that 4 years ago? Can you imagine that 4 years ago the world stopped? Can you imagine that shit? I did not have my headphones plugged in. Damn, my computer's amazing. Okay. You can still hear me, right? Let me know if anything changed with the audio. They know, like, can you imagine that shit? 4 years ago. 4 years ago, March. My birth month. In fact, I remember vividly what happened right before the COVID shutdown happened. Before COVID hit, like the shutdowns happened, it was the weekend of March 17th, 2020. I was working my second job at this company called Renewal by Andersen. It is a window company that sells high grade windows, right? And I was doing sales. And when I said I'm doing sales, I'm doing like old school death of a salesman type sales, like going up to your door with my big black ass knocking, saying, "Hi, I'm so and so with Renewal by Andersen. Are you interested in new windows?" Have the whole script and shit. Not this whole cold call stuff. I was going up to your door, walking my ass off. You know, doing sales like that. And I remember it so vividly because I had just gotten my first sale. I had just gotten my first client. It was a white guy who was at home, and his wife was out, and they had just moved into the area. And I had just, that was my first one. I was like, oh hell yeah, just got my first one. And with sales, it's commission stuff. So I'm getting my base pay rate, but then if I secure leads and those leads go further, you get that cut. So I was like, hell yeah. And then the person I was walking with, he was like, yeah, man, don't get too excited. I was like, wow, what happened? I think everything might get shut down. And I was like, get shut down. And yep, because I guess he heard the news. And yeah, after that week, everything went south. Now, looking back at it, right, like for 4 years in retrospective, right, I'm going to say some very controversial shit. 2020, more than like, I mean, it's not controversial if I frame it like this, but I'll say that 2020 changed the trajectory of my life. Because at the time when 2020, I had dropped out of college in 2017, and I didn't start going back to college until that summer of 2020. And I was only able to do that partially because I was getting maxed out. I was getting the maxed out severance package because since my job required me to go door to door, and we had a airborne aerialite super virus, can't do it. So I was forced out of that job. So I was getting the max amount of unemployment, and then of course those stimulus checks. But realistically, outside of the money part, what really, I guess you could say on some Virgil shit, now I'm motivated type shit, was my a family issue that happened that really refocused me. Because the classes I'm taking now, the classes that I've taken over the last 4 years are some of the hardest STEM-based classes in academia right now. Genetics, Molex class, lab, organic chemistry 1 and 2, anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. Right now, I'm about to finish everything right now, and my course load is looking to be virology, immunology, immunology, infectious diseases and society, and hormones and behavioral effects, like heavy hitting shit. And this is all before I go into my pathway for a surgical technician, But looking back, I can say that like in a time frame where so many people, and it's very odd to say that, right? That like in a time frame when so many people's lives were going to shit, my life got better. It reminds me. It reminds me of, I don't know if y'all have watched that movie 28 Days Later that had Ving Rhames in it, and he's like, yeah, they were in a mall, and he's like, yeah, I would go to funerals and I would see my my friends who were in caskets dead, and yeah, I was sad, but I would always think better than me. It's that weird aspect of self-preservation that you're like, well, yeah, your life's fucked up, but I mean, my life got better. But that aside, all that shit aside, let's talk about some of the trending topics of the last 3 months. So the most recent thing, honestly, is this whole thing with the gender war shit. The gender war shit is actually reaching its fever pitch. I know y'all have seen the whole drizzle stuff, the whole soft guy era shit. But the funny thing when I listen to the shit that these women say about soft guy era this and that, right? And recently I shared a video in the Discord about how pastors are now I'm not even gonna say are now, but how pastors are shaming men for being single and staying single, right? And it makes me realize that a big proponent of the cultural war going on right now in the Western world, right, is that the government, the army, the job force, essentially everybody knows that the lifeblood and the catalyst for any progressive society is the interaction and the investment of men. If men don't invest in it, it's not going to go anywhere. And the reason why is because women are not reliable investors. And that's when I started to realize that, yeah, like a lot of the problems that we see with the gender stuff and, men not going to college as much, all this shit is really only a problem because everybody involved knows that women can't be relied on or expected to take up the slack that men drop. And more importantly, women have no expectation or desire to step into the roles that men leave. So essentially, it's like, okay, well, yeah, so essentially it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to tell men that they're not that important and systemically disenfranchise men and systemically and artificially boost women through affirmative action and all these other social and institutional benefits. But simultaneously, we all know that no matter how much we invest into women, women are not going to redistribute that investment fairly back into society. If 10 plumbers quit, the next 10 won't be women to fill those positions. It'll be other men. And when that realization hit me, it put in perspective that a lot of the arguing you see in these, red pill spaces and all the gender war shit is really just a war of attrition. Because, I mean, no one can make men do anything unless men don't agree to it. And if more men keep pulling back and being selfish with our investment and our time and our energy, everyone suffers except us. And that's why you're seeing these churches talking about, you're being selfish for not finding a wife and getting married. A tyrant. You and I are selfish for, instead of getting married in our late 20s, early 30s, we're selfish for instead of doing that, we're selfish because we decided to build up our retro gaming catalog instead of buying wedding rings. We're selfish. And it's really because not the government, the schools, and even the church don't want to admit that most women are just a burden. Like no one really wants to just come out and say it. And the reason why honestly, is because right now society, especially Western society, is going through a transition period where, by all metrics, feminism and its ideologies have taken root. That's not a debatable part of it all. The problem is that old school feminists knew that the deal that they were offering women was a bad deal compared to what patriarchy offers women. Patriarchy offers women this deal right here. You relinquish some of your freedoms and privileges for protection, deference, and the opportunity to do less work. While feminism says, no, you take on all your responsibilities and expectations equally and fully. Now, when you compare both deals, it's very clear one is shitty, right? Because I mean, let's be real. If I'm telling you, okay, if you submit to me, you don't have to worry about certain things anymore, versus me telling you on the other hand, okay, well, how about you have complete freedom and choice, but everything is on you? You ain't gonna pick the alternative. And we can look at old school feminist literature. They knew it for a fact that, yeah, like, we're not offering women a better deal than what they have with men. Because we're literally telling women, okay, the alternative to living under men is to live on your own, but you're in total control of your own well-being and welfare. And the more you listen to women, you realize women do not want to take full care of themselves. And that's probably the craziest shit when you realize that. And of course, now with this whole, limbo we're in, we'll have women who simultaneously want the patriarchal parentalism of essentially being treated like a second daughter to a man, but at the same time wants to be a boss bitch. Okay, keep that in my mind. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. And that's the thing that's killing me too, is that it's just when you take that step back and look at it all, you're like, okay, so essentially everyone wants to use my labor to enrich themselves, but doesn't want to pay me what my labor, investment, deference, and consideration is worth. And like the best example of this is France. I'm sure y'all have heard of it. I'm sure y'all have heard by now. But for those that haven't, apparently in France, not only did they make abortion completely legal, but they also made it illegal to get a paternity test. So essentially in France, they have literally legalized forced fatherhood. And honestly, that's why I think a lot of Western countries are going to end up doing, because they already know that no matter how poor a woman is, she's going to have kids. No matter how poor she is, it's when you think about it, it's crazy. Women never consider their own poverty into the dynamics of whether women never consider their own income when it comes to whether or not they can have a family or children. Like it's always, well, if we're having kids, he needs to make more. But yeah, if we're having kids, we both need to. But there's that whole topic, right? And then there's the recent shit show with Then there's the recent shit show that went on with Assassin's Creed and their Japanese adventure, right? That one, honestly, with that whole Assassin's Creed shit, I'm glad it happened because for a good minute, and as much as I hate the women like Anita Sarkeesian and all these gamer feminists, they are actually correct. They're actually correct. Like the gaming industry caters to white male fragility, and that whole Assassin's Creed incident proved that in spades. I've never seen white men care about historical accuracy or telling the historical truth so much in my life until you brought up a Black Samurai. I've never ever seen them so active and ready, because these are the same white dudes who, if we say, okay, let's talk about American history, we'll tell you CRT is the devil, right? And the thing about it that really bugged me was the fact that I'm not, like, racism doesn't trigger me. It's just that what triggers me is that when it's lazy. Like, if you're gonna be a racist, I need you to stand 10 toes down on that shit and say, you're damn right, I don't trust those boogity, big nosed, wide lipped, boot black, insert N-word here. Like the way that white men and women today operate in racism is so bitch made. It's so bitch made. Because who the fuck are you? Who are you trying to fool? At this point now, who are you trying to fool? Who? You know, and I think it goes back to something that SWP said, where it's that white people want to maintain their racist superiority complex while at the same time feigning as being benevolent and righteous people. And that's where the dissonance comes into. Like I think it was Line or Anubis in the Discord. They say, you know, these white fucks want to be the main characters everywhere, but don't want you to know that that's what they want to be. But, you know, that part aside, it's just crazy to me how apparently even the Japanese went in there and said, oh no, you know, for years we've been debating if Yasuke was actually some samurai under Oda. And I'm like, really? So y'all got all these statues, all these pop culture references to him being a black samurai. And in the moment white boys in America get bitch made that they can't, you know, own samurai image. Now it's, oh well, we've been looking at it for years. Really? I mean, honestly, it kind of showed me too that, like, and this is probably like some black pill shit, but the way the world is structured as it stands now still spins on the axis that is white superiority, and that all other groups that aren't black co-sign it. And I'm sure you guys have heard this too when it comes to like anime, about how there's all these anime characters that for some reason always look white or always fit a white a template, right? And you'll have people tell you, oh no, the characters aren't white. That's what, you know, Asians look like to themselves. And I'm like, nigga, really? Really? Like, let me show you this real quick. Let me show you this real quick. Let me share my screen. Let me share my fucking screen. Yes, I understand how share screen works. Don't fucking patronize me, bitch. Let me share my motherfucking screen. Okay. my screen being shared? Let me share my screen. Hopefully. Oh, it's just delayed. Why is this delayed? What do I think about MHA ending? I mean, I honestly, my opinions on MHA ending is good for the author and good for that fandom. They got their happy ending. 14 years, that's a good run, made money, good for them. The cons are one, the MHA's fan base are honestly pedophiles. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. They're fucking pedophiles. And two, I stopped watching and caring about My Hero like maybe after season 1 because this was like a joke between when I was in college, like when I started in college with me and Tyrant and some of our friends that like in the early parts of My Hero, Deku would always fucking cry. Every single fight, this dude would be crying up a storm. Crying. Crying. And it'd be like, okay, the first time, yeah, I get it. You know, you want to be a hero. You finally got to be a hero. You finally got to be a hero. I get it. It's cool. You're a hero. But this man is crying every single. Like, if you go back and read and watch season 1 and part of season 2, every single fight, this man was crying. And it would be the same montage that he's like, "Oh might, you gave me these powers. I have to push forward. United States smash!" Every single time, crying. And it'd be one thing if he was crying because he's like actually breaking his body with every attack. Right? He's actually breaking his fingers with every, it would make it like, oh yeah, like when you break your bones and produce compound fractures, yeah, I'm a cry. Most definitely. But no, he's just crying about, oh my gosh, I'm a hero. Oh my God. Just crying. I'm just like, yo, stop. Like, if there's like tropes I hate in anime and manga, it's the pervert, it's the dumb protagonist, and it's like the protagonist that's over emotional. Like, I get it, you're happy, stop crying every fight. But I'm happy for him. Oh, look. I've always said this, and I will continue to keep saying this for another 10 years. My Hero Academia is not a groundbreaking or unique piece of fiction. It's not. I've said this before. My Hero is a Japanese version of the Disney original movie Up and Away. No, correction. It's a Japanese version of the Disney movie called Sky High. And Sky High is just a white version of the even older Disney movie called Up and Away. All three of them have the same plot. They all do. Do you know what the plot of Up and Away is? Its plot is that in a hero family, right? Like, so it's the same plot. Like in this world, there's heroes, and then there's regular people, right? But in this world, the main focus in this movie is Up and Away is a black family where the father and the son, and where the mother, father, grandfather, older brother, and even younger sister all have powers, but the middle kid doesn't. So for most of the movie, he's faking having powers until the end of the movie, where the villain creates a machine that only affects powered people. So literally, he's the only one that can save the day, and he ends up saving the day, right? And then eventually, the whole thing about you're good as what you are, et cetera, be the best you can be happens, right? That's Up and Away's plot. Is my computer? Wait, let me know. Is there a delay in the audio? Am I delayed? Let me know, because I feel like I'm delayed. Well, let me know if there's an audio delay. Let me know, because I feel like there's a delay in the audio or the visuals. But better yet. I'm good. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure of that. And that was. Let me look up and Away real quick. Let me show you guys, because like I think everyone here is like close to 30 or near it. Remember this shit? Oh. Remember this? Remember this? Yeah. This was my hero. This is just Black My Hero. This is just Black My Hero Academia, right? That's all it was. And then after they did this, fast forward a couple more years, and what they did next was this. They did Sky High. Up and Away came out in 2000, right? Sky High. Now I know everyone here remembers this shit, right? Sky High, right? Do you know? Do you know what the plot of Sky High is? It's the same fucking plot as Up and Away, but this time the kid has powers, and now he's just a late bloomer, right? Same plot. Mom is a superhero. Dad is a superhero. They're some of the best known heroes in the Heroverse. They have this whole school meant for hero training, right? Meant for hero training, mind you, right? And he's, for like half the movie, he's like, everyone's like, oh well, I mean, aren't you Stronghold's kid? Yeah, so I bet you have powers, right? I bet you got powers, right? Yeah, of course you do. And the whole movie, up until like maybe like the end of part of it, he doesn't, until hormones trigger and he pops out and he has his dad's super strength and his mom's flying ability, and they beat the bad guy. And the story is, and the same part as this, be the best you can be, et cetera, right? Fast forward even more, and then we get this. My Hero Academia. Now, what's the story of My Hero Academia? What's its story? Oh, wait, it's a world where there's heroes and villains and normal people. And then our main character is a person who doesn't have powers, but his mom has powers, but he doesn't. And then somehow he gets powers, but has to fake that they're actually his powers, but they're not. Plot ensues. Eventually, they beat the bad guy, and in the end, he learns their powers don't define you. It's that will be a hero. It's the same damn plot. It's the same plot. I've seen it too many times. It's the same plot. Okay, what are y'all saying in the chat? That bullshit of be your average self. Everyone's got powers. Yeah, because it's cope. It's that whole be yourself shit is weapons grade copium, like authentic, pure Colombiana cope. Pure Colombiana cope. It's pure. It's pure Colombiana coke. It's pure Colombiana cope. Pure, the finest grade. Like, look. This isn't DC Comics, and you aren't Batman. No one's writing you that kind of plot armor, right? If you aren't superpowered, you aren't superpowered. Simple as that. All right. What else? What other comments we got here? Not sure. Let me see. King Kai said, not sure, but I always see that one Demon Slayer in the chats besides One Piece. Demon Slayer is a good time, but it's not a good anime or manga. And the reason why is because, again, I don't know who told the mangaka to tell, I guess, interviewers that all the effects we see in Demon Slayer aren't actually there, but are actually just their imaginations. I don't know who told them to say that shit, but they should have just lied and said, oh yeah, it's all there. They should have just lied and said that shit. Because you saying that all these effects aren't really there, and that's the main reason your show is being carried, is ridiculous. Is outrageous. Is outrageous. Like your show is carried off those visuals. Bro, May ain't being allegations. Hell no, she's not being allegations. But that's a good question. I want to ask you guys, would you guys be interested in me doing like anime chapter reviews? Because I mean, I probably should have started this shit like a decade ago, honestly. I probably should have done this shit a decade ago. But I mean, it's never too late. Plus, there's some good shit popping off, Like, I just read the newest chapter of JJK, and it's funny. People assumed that Itadori... I don't know. Wait, what did she say, Tyron? I know why they said that. It's all imagination because they were playing gun to your head. Oh man, Rob So Petty is amazing with that shit. Gun to your head. You know what's funny is that I'll be at work saying that shit to customers and shit. Sukuna already is New Madara. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say on the same power level, of course not. But yeah, like I recently read the new chapter of JJK, and it's funny. People were, insinuating that that Yuji was gonna, talk no jutsu fucking Sukuna into being a good guy. And the hilarious part is, no, Yuji wasn't trying to make Sukuna be a good guy. Yuji was literally just telling Sukuna, like, look, I'm gonna be like literally at the end of that chapter, Yuji gave Sukuna two options. Either I kill you or you come back to my body willingly. It wasn't like, oh, you can change your ways and things can be forgiven. No, it's like, no, I'm telling you that all these connections that build my humanity are the reasons why I'm going to beat your fucking ass. It's because you hurt my friends that I'm gonna beat your ass. Not the whole, it's because you hurt my friends that I'm gonna, see you as a person and forgive you. Nah, it's because you hurt my friends, I'm going to beat your ass. Like you're going to catch this fade, and that's like it's either I beat your ass or you come back into your cage, but you're not forgiven, And that's completely different than Talk No Jutsu. Talk No Jutsu is the bullshit Naruto did with fucking Obito, talking about, oh yeah, Obito, you can be forgiving, and we all have bad days, like on some Miley Cyrus shit. We all have bad days, It's like we all become terrorists and kill our senseis, and we all don't do that shit, Obito. Fuck you. Yuji gave him a hard ultimatum: either I kill you or you go to jail. like it is what it is. Oh yeah, the AI hood voiceovers of pre time skip Naruto repping that swing set shit. I mean, look, we can make a list of all the times Naruto essentially forgave literal terrorists because they had rough childhoods. So, we can make a list of that shit, and it would never make sense. Because I recently rewatched Naruto Shippuden with my little sister, right? And she and I were talking about it, and we came to the conclusion that Obito not only is a crash out, but he's also an incel. And that shit had me dying. Because when you think about this shit, right? This kid was raised during a warring states period. So he was aware of the fact that, oh yeah, we're going to war with other villages and we're going to kill people. Like we are going to kill people, right? He was fine with killing other ninjas, but at the moment the girl he likes has to get put in the pack, all of a sudden he lost it. And then not only that, but then to take that incident and go on a fucking revenge plot against the village because the girl that you liked, who, mind you not one time made it definitively clear to that girl, to Rin, that, oh, Rin, I like you, I want to be with you. You didn't make it clear to that girl one time, but you didn't clearly state your feelings of, hey, I want you. It was all this indirect, misdirect, bitch assness that you were doing. And then you get mad when Kakashi on her because essentially she was going to get sent back to the Leaf Village as a Jinchuriki bomb holding the Three Tails. Come on, man. Like he Obito was a full-on incel, dude. It's you know what, Pensive? You are absolutely right. The Crash Out and Send Off mission are probably two of the best slang terms of the last 30 years, because those two terms encapsulate so many defective and degenerate issues that we see in society so succinctly. If you see someone act out of character and in a manner that's going to not only endanger themselves but harm others, that's a crash out. That bro was cracked. Oh, beautiful. And that's one of the reasons why I love the English language. Because I don't think there's any other language type where combining two words like crash out could be given a new meaning. Like, think about it. Like, before the term crash out existed, if you saw someone say, "Oh, that's a crash out," you would have. Well, actually, no. I think before the current term for crash out existed, it used to mean people who got like really hit hard on drugs, right? Because I think it comes from the same play as I think it comes from the same like etymology as the term burnout. Like, not so much getting like workload, but like just they got burnout. He's a fucking burnout. Well, let me read these comments. Naruto is about a privileged stalker and his adventure with pedos. No, you mean that's Sasuke's chapter, right? Yeah. What did Kai say? Oh, is it spun out? Ah, okay, maybe. Look, I mean, again, I personally don't antagonize people for their taste in anime or manga, unless it's like Pico the guy, not Pico the guy, but unless it's a Boku no Pico, because that's pedophile shit. I don't antagonize that shit. Like, I have friends who love trash like Fairy Tail. Let them. Hell, I love trash like Mobile Fighter G Gundam, right? And people and in the Gundam community, people think G Gundam is the most unga bunga low IQ, part of Gundam, right? I love that shit. I've watched G Gundam so many times as a child. I can recite it bar for bar, word for word, So I don't judge people for that shit. If you avoided Naruto, that's fine. Avoid it. I was in too deep, like a COD 5. I was in too deep. Like, I have data books from when I was in middle school. From those fucking you know what? No, that's a good question. Do y'all know, those of you who have kids, do y'all know if their school still do that fucking Scholastic Book Fair shit? Do they still do this at schools? Oh, take me back. Oh, man, this shit hits harder than a motherfucker, bro. The Scholastic Book Fair. Oh, damn. The Scholastic Book Fair. Oh, that made me go backwards almost 15 years. Bruh, they can fight you and me. Shit, this hand of mine is burning red. No, bro, I've been King of Lightning. I've been watching King of Lightning since Toriko. His Toriko reviews, oh man, his Toriko reviews got me. Like, it's funny. I never read Toriko. I only watched his reviews of it. His reviews got me so hyped for that manga. His reviews of Toriko. Oh man. But no, yeah. King of Lightning was the first person within the anime space who called out how trash Naruto's plot lines were. I remember he would have videos called Kakashi sucks and Rock Lee sucks and Neji was right. And in those comment sections, people would be fighting for their lives. No, Rock Lee isn't trash. What are you talking about? Kakashi's an S-rank Jonin. You know, but then when he would lay out those facts, like it'd be like, nah, nigga, you right. And then you see, it's funny, right? When he was doing that shit back then, very few people were like, he's right. But fast forward a decade or so now, everyone knows Naruto is full of shit. In fact, there's people who have YouTube channels where all they do is talk about the literary inconsistencies in Naruto. Fighting for their lives in those comment sections. What are you talking about? Kakashi's this. Fast forward a decade, we're like, nah, wait. Kakashi didn't teach Naruto shit. Kakashi didn't give a fuck about Sakura. The only person Kakashi ever taught like diligently to was Sasuke. And then we all know what happened to Rock Lee by the end of Naruto. Rock Lee had that one good fight against Gaara, lost that shit, but hey, Gaara was a tailed beast. You know, it is what it is. Then he had that one good fight against Kiyomaru. Kiyomaru was my boy, but he almost lost that shit too, and was only saved because Kiyomaru had AIDS, and Gaara came in clutch. And then, of course, I think his best video about how bad Naruto was his video called Neji Was Right. Because I don't know if this is why I love young Neji. Older Neji got soft. I love young Neji because young Neji, how the fuck tuberculosis? What the fuck? How does a character whose Kekkei Genkai is bone manipulation have tuberculosis? No, you're lying about that shit. I refuse to believe that. Tuberculosis? What? That's ridiculous. This man had TB? That is crazy. Oh, no, wait. I just confused TB with a scoliosis. I'm fucking stupid. I confused TB with scoliosis. I was about to say, yeah, scoliosis. No, TB is a lung disease, so that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. TB is a lung disease. Makes perfect sense. I'm here to fight and crash out. Oh, man, that's crazy. Look, Tyrant, to you and all the other Naruto, no, to you and all the other Rock Lee fanboys. Look, I'm sorry. Rock Lee got robbed. Sure. It doesn't matter, all right? It doesn't matter, okay? Y'all are going to have to hold that L for the rest of y'all's lives, okay? It doesn't matter, all right? It does not matter, all right? Rock Lee got robbed, okay. All right. Rock Lee wasn't the main character, okay? He wasn't. It is what it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The person you wanted to win never won a day in his life as a ninja. I'm sorry, but it is what it is, Playboy, right? It is what it is. It is what it is, all right, man? I'm sorry. It is what it is. Okay? Dead Man Wonderland was a good ride. I mean, look, dogging Sasuke doesn't matter. Yeah, he dogged, already fatigued and tired, and curse mark bit. No, correction, no, that was before. Yeah, correction. He dogged a barely activated Sharingan Sasuke and a useless Naruto. Congratulations. Like, I mean, the only thing that was really cool about him dogging Sasuke was the fact that he was like, yeah, you can see my kick, but can you stop it? No. Other than that, I mean, again, okay. Nah, didn't Rock Lee beat the other Taijutsu user from the Sand Village? The Sand, I don't remember. I'm not. Was that filler? Because I didn't watch the filler shit. Both Naruto and Bleach did too much for that filler shit. I'm sorry. Was filler okay? Yeah, I didn't see that shit. Nope. What else y'all got in here? You know, like I don't shame people. No, you're right. You're right. Unfortunately, again, it's this. You know what's funny is that for the people who want to stand by Rock Lee, y'all remind me of the people who keep on wanting to validate Terraformers was racist. I mean, you're not wrong. It is. Like, the Terraformers actually is racist, but it's good fiction. All right? It's good fiction. And I'm not even saying it's racist because of how it made the roaches look like niggas. I'm saying it's racist because in the manga, do you know which country betrayed the other ones first? Did you want to guess which one did it first? Because when me and Tyra used to read that shit, we had like a little bet going to see who betrayed the who betrayed. Because like when me and Tyra used to read that shit weekly, we had a little bet running to see who was the traitor country in Terraformers. Do you want to know which country betrayed everybody else first? You want to guess? I'll give y'all like to 3 to guess. 1, 2, 3. In Terraformers, the country that you find out that were the ones sabotaging all the serums, all the equipment, and who essentially got my boy Adolf killed were the fucking Chinese. Now, the reason why this is funny is that, keep in mind, the person who is this is the Japanese manga, and the mangaka is a Japanese nationalist. So him making the traitors the Chinese was hilarious. Oh shit! But Terraformers had so many badass moments. I mean, in my opinion, the best moment of Terraformers was early on in the show, in the manga. You know what, Tyrant? You are. Yes, you are. Yeah. You know, I do thank you for getting me hooked on Terraformers, because that first chapter fucked my head up so bad. for like a good week. I was like, what the fuck is this shit, man? What is this shit? Like, have y'all read the first chapter of Terraformers? Have I read that shit before? I need. Have I seen Gurren Lagann? I've heard of Gurren Lagann. Have not watched it. There's a lot of shit I have to watch and read. There's a lot of shit I have to watch and read. You know. But yeah, like my favorite part in Terraformers was literally in the early part on Bugs 1, where it was Tien and the two other people in the chamber room, and they had the roaches in there, right? And Tien, he was a Muay Thai specialist that had the MO of it was Bugs 2, and it was Tien, and it was Tien was in there, and he was a Muay Thai specialist that had the MO of the grasshopper, right? And when they were fighting the roaches, the next generation was born, and these fools were smarter roaches. So immediately they fucking the roach was born, and that roach got full extension and drop kicked the fuck out of Tien. Let me see if I can find that image. Yeah, right here. Oh God. Let me see. Let me finally find it. Let me find the image. Why they gotta make the image so small? Well, let me show y'all this shit. Do you see that full extension? Do you see that shit? Let me try and zoom this in. Like, do you see that full extension? Hit him square in his goddamn chest with that full extension. And then you know what Tien's response to this shit was? He got like 4 or 5 vials of the juice and said, "Nah, nigga, we're not dying here. I need to evolve," and just went on a killing rampage. Oh, Tien, man. Like, and then the one thing I loved about Terraformers 2 is that they would always give you like this, like just like cinematic breakdown of the animal that the person had, right? And like and its history. Oh, just it was so good because like I remember reading the breakdown of what was it? It was of the breakdown of the grasshopper, and the guy was like, in ancient times, these were meant to be a sign of doom and a sign. It was meant to be in ancient times. These organisms were meant and seen as an omen of bad luck and destruction, flying across the Sahara, destroying everything in their wake. Mankind's original first plague, the black locust, and this man grew wings and everything. Ah, damn, that shit was fired. they would break that shit down on some Baki level type stuff. Like, it was so good, man. It was so good. My favorite characters were Tien, Akira, and the and that world champion boxer that got the pistol strip, because that boy was efficient. Oh man, my boy Tien. My boy Tien. My boy Tien. And then I think like my next favorite character had to be the Japanese Hornet, because that man was a demon. Wait, let me see if I can find the image. Yeah, This is when him and that other guy was like, "Fuck it, we gotta evolve. we gotta evolve, baby. We gotta evolve." Oh man, we gotta evolve. Oh, I fucking love this anime, this manga. Yeah, here it is right here. Yeah, him and the Hornet just freaking out, like just freaking out, like just freaking out, like I fucking love. You know what? I'm not gonna reread this shit because I think it's still ongoing too. I'm not gonna reread this shit because the last. I'm not going to read this shit because this shit is giving me hype again. Just seeing these scenes getting me hype, just freaking out like, let's go. Yep, see, got those black wings. Let's get it. Just fucking niggas up. I love this character, man. Tien was my boy. Oh man, I love Tien. I love Tien's character. Just out here putting in that work. Yep, and then he OD'd. He OD'd on that good shit. He OD'd, man. He OD'd. Let me see. What are y'all chatting about in the group chat? What are y'all doing here? Don't forget, if you like the content, hit the Cash App. Much appreciated. It could be anything, Let me see what y'all say in the chat. I've never heard of ReZero, actually. I've heard of Tower of God. What did you say? Pensive asked, why do mangakas like making their characters teenagers and sexualizing them? Why not at least wait till the time skip? Okay, so I'm going to give you the honest reason why. So there's two reasons. The first one is, as cool as Japan is, Japan has a very normalized pedophile culture. If I'm correct, last time I checked, their age of consent is like fucking 14. Like last time I checked, it's like super young. And I want to make sure. Oh no, it's 16. Okay. Oh no. Yeah, it was 13. Correction, I was wrong. It was 13. So yeah. So I'll actually show y'all what the age of consent was. I'll show y'all so I can answer that question. So the age of consent. So the age of consent used to be 13. They recently raised it to 16. So when you have a country, when you have a country whose ideas about age and consent are this fucking backwards, it's not a surprise to me that in their works of fiction, especially by the men, that they focus on younger children. It's not, I'm not surprised. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just not surprised. And then couple that, and you know what's funny? The only good excuse I've seen for why they use young kids so much in their manga and stuff was from the show called Shaman King. You remember Shaman King? In the show, right? I can't say his last name, but the main character, asked his dad, like, hey, why are y'all putting all this pressure on us to defeat Hao when he's like the most powerful shaman in history and y'all are all adults? Why are you doing that? And Hao's dad tells him, very simple, us as adults, we have a ceiling. We put like a mental ceiling on what we're capable of doing, which ultimately limits how much we will try. But you as kids, y'all don't have that ceiling. Y'all have boundless optimism and believe if it can be done, which is why we put that on you. Look, that's the only good example I've ever heard in a manga as to why it's always young kids out here saving the world and shit. But outside of that, the reason why they're so young is because Japan has a pedophilic culture. It's simply, yeah, it did. Oh, damn, you took me back with Fully Cooley. God damn. Whew. Shit, Fully Cooley. I haven't heard that name in a minute. But yeah, like Japan, and you know, it's a good thing. It's actually a good thing that you mentioned that, Pensu, because I was talking about this recently about how 18 being the age of consent is pointless because, quite frankly, no one believes an 18-year-old is an adult. And what I mean by that is that, especially correction, no one believes an 18-year-old woman is an adult. Let's be very clear about that. If it's an 18-year-old man, they believe that dude has been alive since the 1920s. He's that old. But an 18-year-old woman, people don't believe that. And what I mean is that, you know, I know y'all have recently heard about all these allegations about, you know, 18-year-olds talking, you know, about 17-year-olds hooking up with, you know, 25-year-olds, about 17-year-olds hooking up with 25-year-olds and stuff like that, you know. And the thing about it is that people are like, oh, well, the law says 17-year-olds can't consent, but 18-year-olds can. And I'm like, let's be completely fucking honest here. What mental difference is there between 17 and 18 to make you believe that if a 17-year-old isn't old enough to consent, somehow them turning a year older, they now can. Now, let's honestly talk about that shit. Because quite frankly, I know, and we all know, that mentally, there's no difference between a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. There is none. That's just the law trying to find a way to make this shit work. Because one of the greatest pieces of literature I read while I was like in my younger days of college was how essentially psychologists invented the time of adolescence. The adolescence is a luxury of the society. And what that means is that prior to the 1950s, there was no such thing as being a teenager. It was either you're a child or you're an adult. And the reason why is because prior to that time period, there was no luxury of just being a teenager. Like when you think about what a teenager is, right? You're telling me that from the time you turn 13 to the time you're 18, right? That you have essentially, like, if you think about modern teenagers today, right? Modern teenagers, from the time you turn 13 to the time you turn 18, you're telling me that today, that person today, under normal circumstances, has no responsibilities to work, to provide for a family, to do anything. From 13 to 18, that child is just meant to exist, essentially, and go to school. Do you know how crazy that is? If you think about the full context of humanity and society. Like think about that, like going back no less than 200 years. Telling someone that, oh yeah, your 13-year-old son or daughter is just gonna stay at home and go to school until they're 18. You know, that's a relatively new concept. So people really don't believe that 18 is an adult, especially with women, because the thing about it, and I know we've all heard this joke before, right? That, if an 18-year-old girl is dating a 40-year-old man, it's a problem. But if an 18-year-old girl makes an OnlyFans and then whores herself out to a 40-year-old man, it's empowerment. We've all heard that joke. Of the same people who will call an older guy weird for dating an 18-year-old won't say the same thing if that 18-year-old says, okay, I'll sell you ass pics on OnlyFans. You know? In reality, people don't believe 18-year-old women are grown adults. And it goes back to the further infantilization of women in the West in order to criminalize and socially control the dating proclivities of men. Because again, no one pays this much energy when it's women creeping up on 18-year-old boys. No one cares like this, because society doesn't see 18-year-old boys as not being adults, only women. But that tangent aside, what are y'all talking about in the chat? Let me see. What are y'all talking about in the chat? Yeah, the concept. Yeah, you're right, Pensive. The whole the idea of limiters. You're right, and you're right, Tyron. A great example of this limiter idea is actually a great example of this idea that's actually used better, that's actually shown better than in the mangas, is with the Flash family. Because correct me if I'm wrong, even though Wally West is loved by the Speed Force, right? No, correction. Even though Barry Allen is loved by the Speed Force, essentially, Wally West is the faster speedster because because he doesn't think there is an idea of a top speed, right? It's like since Barry Allen is a forensic scientist in his real life, he has that limiter on his head of like, oh, okay, well, this can only go so fast because science, right? But Wally is like, no, I can go faster. Oh, speed of light, I can go faster. You know, I can go faster. Like if the number can go up, I can go faster. And that's why Wally West is the fastest speeder, the fastest speedster. I mean, Barry is the most complete Flash. You're right, but Wally is the fastest only because Barry, again, has that like adult common sense of, oh, okay, well, you know, the speed of light is the speed of light is the fastest thing in the universe. I'm always like, but what if we went one more number faster than the speed of light? Like, what if we went faster than light itself? Like, what do you mean, you know? So there's that. Let me see. That's nasty work, Japan. Yeah, like, look, like, again, people forget that, you know, the story of humanity isn't a story of rainbows and puppies and, you know, sunshine. The story of humanity is a story of animals coming to grips with our ever elevating common sense and reasoning. 100 years ago, we used to lobotomize and lock up crazy people. And when I say crazy, I don't mean like, you know, schizophrenics. I mean like people who had like anxiety or depression. We used to lock them in a building and lobotomize them 100 years ago. And that was just in America. In other countries, they would just throw you in the forest and leave you to die. Or just kill you. I mean, shit. Everybody loves the movie 300. I know we've all at one point seen, you know, a documentary on how Spartans lived, right? What did they do with the boys that were born with defects? They would throw those bastards in the trash. They would throw them in the trash. Or you have a clipped chin? Garbage. They would throw them away. So, I mean, humanity has come a long way, but not all of us. I mean, yeah. Isn't that what Freud would do? Sigmund Freud would, not only would he take cocaine, but he would sleep with his patients. Like, people forget that human beings are just animals who gained higher levels of reasoning. And because of that, we have overcomplicated through ethics our day-to-day lives. Because in the Serengeti, there is no good or bad. It's who lives to see tomorrow. But yeah, what did Joe Black say? Barry is a scientist and so understands the speed of force as a concept. Yes, understands the speed force as a concept. Wally has a connection that just makes Wally has a connection that's just much more natural, a lot of better manipulation, essentially. Yeah, exactly. Essentially, that's exactly what it is. Barry still holds science as his guiding ideology. So subconsciously, he limits himself because in his head, well, science is science. Wally doesn't have that problem. He's like, I can go faster. I can go faster. You know. Joe Black said up here, bro, I had to look up Himiko Toga's age like twice when I started watching MHA season 2 during the hero test. Yep. Yep. And then I'm sure y'all have heard about how at one of those con conventions, MHH fan who was a girl, mind you, a girl MHA fan asked the English VA of Deku if he's seen the Irena X Deku fan art. Mind you, Irena is like a child, and those freaks are making, relationship relationship fan art of a child and a teenager. Fucking freaks. Remember Tomato Chick from One Punch Man? Oh yeah. That's I don't know how Mappa is gonna animate the Garo versus Saitama fight, because that shit, when that shit came out in the manga, I lost my mind. Oh my goodness. Shit is crazy. And people still want to argue that Goku can beat Saitama. Oh, Jesus. Deliver us from evil. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I'm going to drop the link. I think I've yapped a good amount. Let y'all come in here so y'all can, give your thoughts, concerns, opinions. It's not a one-man show. So the link is in the chat. For those that want to come up, go ahead. Oh, you mean when you said the tornado chick, you mean Tatsumaki or her sister? You mean her younger? You mean Tatsumaki's younger? Well, you mean Tatsumaki's older sister, right? Yeah. The one that looks like a child but isn't a child. Tatsumaki's. Oh no, that's her name. Yeah, Tatsumaki. Okay, never mind. Yeah, Tatsumaki. Yeah, the one that's not a child, looks like a child. Yeah, the Japanese love doing that shit. Yeah, they love making these girls look like children, but then say, "Oh no, she's actually 28." Okay, she's actually 28. Sure. She's actually 28. Yeah, yeah, guys. This character right here. This character is 28 years old. The character that he draws with a child's body is 28. This is a 28-year-old woman, guys. 28 years old. Okay, Japan. Okay, Japan. Exactly. Okay, Japan. All right. Yeah, the Japanese love doing that shit. Yeah, guys, this is a 28-year-old woman. Oh, look at the child. Look at the 28-year-old woman. Look at this. She's 28, guys. 28 years old. Yeah. Yeah, to 28 years old, guys. Mm-hmm. 28-year-old, guys. 28 years old. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I believe it. 28 years old. 28 years old. Oh, let's see it in color. 28 years old. Yes, 28 years old. 28. That's a 28. That's a 28-year-old body right there. 28 years old. Oh, Japan. I fear as though those nukes may have affected you one way or the other. Oh yeah, Kefla, Kale, yeah. Look, I mean, I already showed y'all what the age of consent was in Japan, and where it was before, and where it was before it changed. You know, I've already showed y'all that shit. So do with that what you will, but understand that Japan. Let me see. Let me see here. Let me see. Oh God! So Kaba is 20 or 23, but Kale and Khalifa are around 16 to 20. Okay. Yeah. These girls look all 16 years old. I don't see a 20-year-old here. Does this look 20 to you? I don't see 20-year-olds here. I see 16-year-olds here. I see a 16-year-old. I do not see a 20-year-old there. Do you see 20-year-old there? And you know what's crazy is that Toriyama is actually pretty good on like making his characters look their age, right? So that's actually shocking that he's playing this dumb shit. R.I.P. I say Japan. I know you like him young. Oh man. And you know what's really sad is that one of my favorite manga, its creator is a certified pedophile. Like certified pedophile. Because one of my favorite manga is Rurouni Kenshin, or in America, Samurai X. And its creator, Watsuki, is a pedophile. Like, I'll let y'all look up yourselves. But essentially, I think it was either in early 2000 or something, he got caught with a CP in his house. And he had so much of it that the investigators thought like he was the one, like he was, making it in house and selling it. Nah, he just bought that much CP, and because Japan has non-existent, laws like that, all he had to do was pay a fine of like $2,000, and that was it. Now, don't get me wrong. America doesn't have a better version for either, because I think most pedophiles in America don't stay in jail that long anyway. But at least they go to jail. This dude just paid a fine. The villain, Hisoka, is a pedophile. Just that, again, for some reason, no, not that I say for some reason. I know the exact reason. Because people like anime and like what Japan produces for the world, they're willing to overlook the glaring problems that come out of Japan. Hisoka is, by all definitions, a minor attracted person. But because, you know, he looks pretty and is tall and it's Japan, people like to play around and think that behavior is fucking okay. Oh yeah, Tyrant, if you're still in chat, are we gonna go to Dragon Con this year again or no? Hisoka is maybe the weirdest manga character I've ever seen, and women is simp for him. Yeah, because I mean, we all saw that shit with the whole Wade Wilson case. Women, the whole man versus bear thing. It really should have been ugly man versus bear. That's what it should have been, because it's very well documented that if you're attractive enough to a woman, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past, she will still desire you. And the women prove that in droves when they started making thirst trap videos for Wade Wilson, even though Wade is getting the death sentence for killing 2 women. I mean, Japan's bestiality shit is well documented. I'm not gonna Google that shit on my time, but you can Google up paintings and pictures of them in precarious positions with octopus. Japan is like white people that way. You know, a lot of European cultures have stories of them engaging in physics with animals, particularly horses. You know, ironically, you don't find that type of. Ironically, you don't find those type of fables in Africa. I've never heard of a fable from any part of the continent where it involved a woman or a man sleeping with an animal and then having a half donkey human. You only see that shit in European and Asian cultures. Oh, really? Well, you know. I'm going to drop the link in the chat one more time for anyone that wants to come up and talk. The link is there. If you want to come in, chat, bring up another topic, you're free to do so. Right now, I'm just freestyling, listening, talking with chat. But yeah, Japan has a pedophile subculture, but because people like anime and Japanese culture outside of that, they're okay with overlooking that. If like, and that's the funny thing too, right? Is that people don't give other countries like India that same grace with their pedophile shit. But Japan, they do. Now, mind you, I don't really like Indians. I have my gripes with them, but that's neither here nor there. It is Joe Black? Oh wow. Yes, Pearl is a creeper. You're absolutely right. Pearl is a creeper. Okay, Kai, you're absolutely right. You know, U.S. comics are going downhill when people tolerate Japan's pedophilia because of the work. You're absolutely right. But honestly, that's a fault of American comics because as much as people correction, as much as white men like to bitch about how Ray from Star Wars and how Captain Marvel from the MCU are Mary Sue's, these same white boys don't have even 1/16 of the smoke for Batman. And Batman is the original Mary Sue. It is the original Mary Sue. And these white dudes don't have shit to say about Batman. I was fully done with Batman honestly when they did that Dark Knight Metal serialization. My boy Tyron will tell you that shit got me so done with Batman. I was like, hold up, you're telling me that the only reason why Batman is the only character in all of DC to survive getting blasted by Darkseid's Omega beams is because before he got blasted with it, he just so happened to ingest these 4 super secret rare metals that teleported him to. I was like, man, get the fuck out of here, bro. And then what made Dark Knight's Metal so annoying too was that so out of all of the negative, no, that was negative. Out of all of the like parallel universe, multiversal universes, right? It was only the Batman that strategized to come against the positive universe. It was only the Batman. Fuck that shit. And don't get me wrong, those negative world Batman were cool as fuck. The Flash and Bruce combination Batman, fire. I think he's called. I think that Batman is called the Red Death. Fire, fucking fire. He looks fucking cool. The Green Lantern Batman variant called the Darkest Night, immaculate. But the fact that it was only Batman of the negative multiverse that wanted to that wanted to congeal and take over the positive multiverse is bullshit to me. What did you guys say? Luke Skywalker is a Mary Sue. I don't know if I agree with that. The only reason why I say no to that is because we saw Luke train. Like, we saw Luke struggle to, master his powers. You know what I'm saying? Now, to be fair, I will agree that, yeah, like, from how it's explained to us now, essentially the Skywalker, from how it's explained to us now, essentially your connection to the Force isn't something that you can grow. You're born with it or you're not, which it kind of fucks up the entire progression of, Star Wars. Because now it's like, okay, because I was like, okay, so I guess like I'm just stuck. Like, if I'm trash, I'm trash. You know what I'm saying? And I think like George Lucas called it a fucking a midichlorians or something like that. And like the more midichlorians you have, the more the force you're connected with. But then again, you have people like Yoda's people that are naturally force sensitive. So it's like, I don't fucking know. Oh, really? That's debatable now because what's her face from Learn How to Use It in the Ashoka show? Really? Okay. Well, like I said, I don't know anymore because I mean, George Lucas, even George Lucas himself admits he went and sold his I think he did an interview where he said, "Yeah, I sold my children to slave masters." So yeah, the midichlorian count, but like I think that whole midichlorian count shit honestly fucks up the progression. Oh, really? I need to go and read up more Star Wars lore because the last like real thing I've learned about Star Wars was about a Riven. No, not Riven. Was it Raven? Joe, talking about, right? Dark Riven. Is it? It's not Dark Riven. It's Darth. Is it Riven or is it Raven? I watched a like maybe 3 hour video. Is it Darth Riven? It's not Maul. Is it Riven? Yeah, Riven. Yeah, I watched like a almost 3 hour video of Darth Riven, and like how essentially starting from the Knights of the Old Republic video games all the way through everything, his whole storyline. And man, his storyline is fucking epic. It is so goddamn good. Oh my goodness. Too bad. Too bad. We'll probably never see it get done properly. I mean, Pensive. I'm not surprised they made Superboy gay. Remember how in I think it was 2011 or 2009, where they try to make Iceman gay? Shit is lazy as hell. Yeah, a lot of because like I the midichlorian thing, I don't like it because it kind of strips away the progressive, like the progressive part of Star Wars, and how with training and mastering oneself, you can become more in line with the Force. It completely removes that aspect because now it's like, well, because now with the whole midichlorian count, if your midichlorian count is low, that's it. Like whatever it is, that's it. That there's nothing else you can do to enhance it. All you can do now is just focus on your more physical combat part of your of your skills. But that whole force part, whatever your force ability level is at, that's it right there. Heir of the Empire. Okay. All right. So for the last couple minutes, y'all can spitball any topics you want to go over right now. I'm pretty much done with topics, honestly. At this point, I'm just freestyling. But if y'all have anything you want to talk about, you can go ahead and put in the chat. Is Bobby Drake still gay? No. So what if I remember correctly, what they ended up doing was that whole alternate timeline bullshit. So that was a different timeline, Bobby Drake, and not our timelines when we've known since the 60s. But even still, even trying that shit is just fucking lazy and insulting. Like I remember when the Legend of Korra ended, and they showed that Korra and Kasami were gay, sorry, but bisexual, and people were like, "Oh my gosh," blah 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 blah. My whole issue with that, and you can ask Tyron this too, because Tyron and I, we were in college together when it happened. Our thing is like, look, I don't care if man carrying a gay or not. I don't care. But if you're gonna give me gay shit, give me gay shit. Don't try and sprinkle that shit in and then say, oh, they've been gay all along. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Like don't insult my intelligence like that shit. Don't do that. Do you know they're still going ham? Yeah. You missed the earlier part of the stream. I spoke about that shit. As much as I hate these gamer feminists in the gaming realm, they're absolutely correct in their assessment that one, game studios cater to white male egos, and two, that a lot of the white male fan base of the gaming world is racist and sexist. Like, and this whole Star Wars, and not Star Wars, and this whole AC Shadows thing proved it. Like a lot of these, and when I think about it, we've always known that most of these guys are racist because everyone, and it's cliche now, right? But everyone essentially has admitted that if you were in those Call of Duty lobbies back in like 2013 to 2015, those white guys are racist. And the thing about it now is that literally any person over the age of 25 who's playing video games and has been playing them for at least 10 years was in those Call of Duty lobbies. So all the white guys who are 25 and up now, who've been playing games for the last 10 years, are actually racist because they were all in those Call of Duty lobbies saying the N-word, the F-word, all that shit, especially in those Black Ops 2 lobbies, making their clan tags swastikas and KKK shit. So literally for the last like 5 years, everyone's been acknowledging that, oh yeah, these white guys are racist. Because no one denies what was being said in those group chats 10 years ago. No one does. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy how essentially we all admit they're racist. And I've been that way for years. It's crazy. Exactly. Shit was diabolical. I remember the first time I got online on my PS3. And it was because I got my PS3 on Christmas, didn't have any games. And this happened right after the Sony hack. So you know how the Sony hack happened and they gave free games and shit. This happened right after that time. So I got like Infamous 1 and Little Big Planet 3, right? But I didn't have any games before that. So my friend Tyrant gave me, and I still have the game, gave me Red Faction Guerrilla on PS3. I plugged it in, started playing it, right? I was online. My first time being online, if you go and look up the Red Faction Gorilla online like leaderboard rankings, the top 10 people on those rankings are in my friend like list on my on PlayStation because by the time I got that game from Tyrant, the online scene of it was already dying down. So it was just literally the world's best players at the time playing that game back to back to back. And do you know what I encountered? That if you go to the leaderboards and look at the names, right, you'll see this guy's name there. It's called Young Sleep. There were some racist white dudes who were so racist that they made alternate accounts where the name for their where they're like caller ID, not caller ID, but like where their gamer tag name was literally Young Sleep is a nigger. They were that racist that they went back and made a new accounts just to have game tags of Young Sleep's a nigger. And then they would get on the game when he was playing it, right? And be in the voice chat calling him a nigger. This was like I was still in high school when I witnessed that shit. I was still in high school when I witnessed that shit. I still have this dude on my friends list because he and I would have played that much because that was like before the servers went down and shit. He and I played that much. That was, and I think I graduated high school in 2013. I entered high school in 2009. So it was during that time period. Everybody, and this is, and you know, it just dawned on me too saying this. Everyone admits that the white guys who were playing online from 2006 and like from 2006 to 2015 were on there doing the most racist shit ever. Everyone, no one denies it. Not the white guys, not the black guys, not the Hispanic guys. No one denies that these white dudes were on these online spaces being openly cash shit, cavalier racist. No one denies it. And now these same white guys, 10 years later, hitting 30, 25, 26, 35, are now looking in your face saying, oh, I'm not racist. I just want historical accuracy. No, I'm not racist. I just like Mary Sue's. No, Tyler. I was playing Modern Warfare 2 with you back in 2019. So sorry, I was playing MW2 with you back in 2006. I was playing Black Ops 2 with you back in 2010. You are racist.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, bro?
Oh, not much, man. Like I said, can't stay on here much longer. But yeah, man. I mean, it's an unfortunate thing, and I think what it is too. It's like you said, the issue. How can I put it like this, right? Like, especially if you look at modern day political climate, it's like
I was young. Kai, you're right. They're not gonna say that shit. They're gonna say, "Oh, I was only 14, bro. I didn't know saying nigger was a problem back then." Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Sure, exactly. It's like you said, a lot of these white guys don't want to admit that they're racist, and it's like when it comes to like the whole gamer feminists and whatnot, their problem is that the reason why the reason why everything they touch goes to shit is because, and I've said this before, Lion, that 90% of this quote unquote female empowerment is just a cult of toxic femininity. Like that's all it is. So it's like even when they make a valid argument or criticism, you know what I mean? It just gets lost in translation because it's like you complain about them being on some racist bullshit just for you to turn around and do the same shit. You know what I mean? It's never
You're
you
right.
just trying to tone the fuck down and trying to be reasonable. It's always you got to just do the same shit in the opposite
You know
direction.
what? You're absolutely right. Like they like as right as they are, they're not actually trying to abolish the problem. They just want to replace. Yeah, they just want to replace it.
Yep.
But what
Yeah.
King
Yeah. Yeah.
Kai said is like, yeah, they're gonna say Edward's famous words. I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Pence said, "Yeah, I didn't know any better." Yeah, like and it's crazy because like literally, and I don't think people realize it though, because I didn't realize this shit until like 2 days ago. That yeah, we have all these white guys essentially admitting, yeah, when I was younger, I was a racist.
Mm-hmm.
And even the ones who weren't doing racist shit, they definitely didn't go against it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Exactly.
wish I wish Tyrant could get on because Tyrant really like he follows Call of Duty scene like that. So he's played more of the games than I have. But he has this one crazy story where he got into a lobby and they came at him sideways. But it was funny though because like back then the only way that you would really shut those guys up is either you get just as diabolical as them over the mic, or you would beat their ass in the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, it's just that's what their issue is. It's like you said, same thing goes when people when these chicks want to do all this you see this too, like you said, with the whole anti-patriarchy rhetoric or you like you said they choose the bear argument. It's just a bunch of just fucking it's
It's
just
bitching.
edge lord behavior. Yeah,
It's
like say
bitching.
yeah, because it's like
You know what I call it? You know what I call it, Kev? You know
what.
how like if you've ever worked in retail, right? You know how you'll have that bitchy female customer that'll
Mm-hmm.
say that'll make comments like, "Oh, the store is so dirty. Oh, you are gonna give it to me for free? You know what? I won't come back." And you're like, "Okay, don't come back." It's that.
Right.
It's like they're saying the most inflammatory ass shit to get a reaction out of you because they believe that there's this underlying agreement where it's like, okay, as a man, I have to care about how
Mm-hmm.
you feel. In the same way that as a consumer and a producer, as a customer, there's this like underlying there's this underlying agreement where like, okay, if you're a customer and I'm an employee at the store, on some regard, I have to care how you feel
Yeah.
about your
Yeah, like
experience.
basically it's like the whole customer is always right syndrome,
Yeah, it's literally just that.
Yep. And it's like that works in the short term, but in the long term that
In a
becomes
long term,
unsustainable.
yeah. In a long term, it's like, okay, bitch, go to the store.
Mm-hmm. So
You know,
so like you said, that's the reason why a lot of their arguments stuff like that gets gets drowned out because it's just like man, it's just like what's the point of even complaining about it in the first place if your quote unquote solution is you feel like you said in the film, the TV show, and video game industry where they'll complain about all these racist white men, like you said, always try to think that they're the main character, but their solution is to have these like female oriented shows with just horrible writing,
yeah,
and it's just like
like fucking Velma.
exactly, and it's like now you're just pissing everybody off. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You you know you 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 pissed off the people that were actually racist, and then you pissed off everybody else. You pissed off the racist white man for not catering to them, and then you pissed off everybody else because you use the only opportunity to get any type of different representation to just shit on everything and just shit on and just basically collectively shit your pants. You know what I mean?
Yep.
In like the worst possible way, and then want to blame it on sexism and misogyny.
Yep.
It's like, oh my god,
Kev,
it's like, yeah.
Kev, hold up a minute. Let me just read these comments real quick, right?
All right, cool.
Pensive said, "Yeah, these white gamers showed their ass with this AC Shadows situation. It's extremely hard to cater for them and their sudden appreciation of historical accuracy." That again, I was saying this shit all over Twitter. The same white guys who will tell you CRT is bullshit were the same ones saying historical accuracy in a video game where you shadow box the Pope in the Vatican. Okay. And then,
yep.
And then Joe Black said, or my personal favorite, I listen to rap, of which 90% is Eminem, MGK, or Macklemore. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, yeah. Pensive said again, free white and 21 syndrome. No, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just insane. It's just insane to me how like literally anytime someone complains about, how gaming spaces now are toxic, right? The top response is, "Oh, y'all wouldn't survive at MW2 lobby." I'm like, "Oh, so y'all are admitting that back then y'all were racist."
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what so you're admitting that back then y'all were racist. Okay, got you. So that when I call y'all racist now, you ain't gonna say, "Oh no, I'm not." No. Remember, in MW2, in those lobbies on Nuketown, on fucking what's that one map in MW2 that was like the map where you would fucking do duels at? What is it called again? Was it Scrapyard?
I don't know because I didn't. Yeah, I don't know because I didn't play online, so
Oh, let me see.
But
MW. Let me see MW2 maps. But go ahead, Pen. Go ahead, Dom. Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, that, and it's just like and then also too, like I realized too, and it kind of pissed me off too, because when Tino made a live the other day, it's like it's infuriating when you look at how when people want to talk about like racial injustice and stuff like that in this country, how like the plight of quote unquote so-called black people here, especially so-called black men, has been literally just completely undermined and co-opted by like communist and feminist agitators and edgelords and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it's like the whole reason why so many so-called black men lean left in the first place is because the thinking is this, right? We know more than anyone else about the downsides and the perils of experiencing like systematic discrimination, because we've experienced discrimination more than anyone else. So in our minds, we kind of look at it as like, okay, we know how fucked up it is, so we don't want other people to go through the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like a show of charity. What these people do is that they take that mindset and they take that that olive branch that we were willing to extend, and they basically abuse the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? And twist it, and co-opt it, and all types of shit. You know what I mean? Like,
but like that's a problem that comes from the fact that human beings are really no different. Human beings are really no different from any other animal. We only really respond well to consequences. So until there's a consequence provided by black men for those towards those who misconstrued and misuse our plight to further propel themselves, though it's not going to stop. Because at the end of the day, even in the Bible and the Quran, nothing is done in those books for free. it's as a consequence or
Yep.
or as a consequence or an avoidance of a consequence, not just because I'm doing it. So until there's a
Right.
consequence presented, it's not going to change. Let me
Yep.
just stop you real quick. Let me read these comments real quick, Kev. So we have Joe again. What's funny is that Inosuke's legitimacy has been defended ad nauseum by an actual Japanese historian, though through, and he covers the topic from like multiple angles. Again, these white boys don't care because fundamentally Western white men believe that they own a monopoly or a controlling say in Asian culture. And that's something that most people don't want to outwardly say, but they just proved with this Yasuke shit. Because if you ask these white guys, why do you care so much? They'll tell you some bullshit like, oh, I just want the accuracy. Oh, I just I like their culture. No, it's because you believe you own a part of this shit. You believe it. You believe, oh well, it's that whole fucking manifest destiny. We haven't civilized the beast shit. Pensive said, well, that part wasn't supposed to be accurate, but the setting and characters are realistic. Okay, so there never existed a man named Ezio Auditore de Firenze. Never. Actually, Ezio is the character is the one character in the first 3 AC games that isn't real. Cesare Borgia, it was real. Machiavelli was real. The Medici were real. Auditore, not. Joe Back said again, my only doubt about AC Shadows is that they did? They made Yasuke gay? Wow. See, and you know what? This just
That's
proves,
what I mean. That's what I mean.
This,
as far as like, yeah, like you said, is them just coming in and co-opting this shit and trying to twist it. Because again, it's like it's one thing if it's somebody like James Baldwin, you know what I mean, who admitted himself, you know what I mean, that he was gay right out the gate. Yeah, like it's not that. No, they want to make characters who are already straight and then turn them gay, which is like you said, it's fucking cheap. It's cheap and it's fucking lazy. Okay, it's cheap and it's lazy writing. Instead of writing an original, instead of having an original intellectual property of somebody who's gay, you want to take somebody who was not gay and make them gay just for the sake of, quote unquote, representation. Yeah, like
but yeah,
shit is weak sauce.
But you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with myself. I'm gonna be honest with myself. Say that this is probably my homophobia coming out. I don't want to see that gay shit. Like I either they make either character or that character be gay, but I don't want a character that I don't want a character that I want to not so much identify with, but that I want to vicariously live through be gay. So I guess that's the as they would say in feminist circles, that's the intersectionality of this.
Well,
though to be fair, I don't think I would have cared that much, but I can obviously see why they're doing it. So there is that part too.
Yeah, like you said, and again, if you want to do that, make an original intellectual property doing that. No, they don't want to do that. They want to do that. It's almost like it's the same thing goes with them trying to quote unquote race swap traditional quote unquote white characters. Like instead of making your own, instead of using the plethora of original quote unquote black characters, and instead of bringing their stories to the forefront, you just want to race swap, white characters. You know what I mean? It's just like, bro, stop. Like, because outside of like a few rare examples, like with Nick Fury, that almost never works and it backfires, and you just universally piss everyone off because it's like, bro, like, are you that fucking lazy?
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, because like again, I mean, when I think about it, I don't think I really would care if they portrayed him as being gay, but at the same time, it's like historically we don't know what he was, gay or straight, but it's safe to assume he was more than likely straight. So the idea that you would then take the liberty to fictionally present a real person as gay just because of the fact that, oh, well, he could have been gay is like,
right. It's such a reach, man.
it's like, yeah, it's a reach. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's me removing my own subjective feelings of, oh, I don't want to play a gay character, because, like, to be honest, I don't think I would care if he was really gay. As far as how that would affect me wanting to play the character, I don't think I really would have. I don't think it would, honestly.
Right.
And now that I think about it, I know for some black guys, it's like, fuck that nigga. I don't think, obviously with some black dudes it is. I don't think it would really affect my desire to play the character.
Yeah.
But it does. It is a reach though, because it's like you have no speculation to even
creatively
assume.
Bankrupt.
Yeah, you have like
creatively fucking bankrupt. And going back to what you said earlier about the white gamers, it's like this, right? And I think it's safe to assume this, right? When a lot of these white guys, right, and hell, with a lot of these, like immigrant men too, it's like you want to be racist, especially towards so-called, black people, especially so-called black men, but you don't want people to constantly remind people of the fact that you're racist. You don't want people to constantly remind. You don't want to be constantly reminded in case, like, hey, you're racist. Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You're not nearly as righteous as you make yourself out to be.
And that's when that the SWP actually is completely correct about. White people and other non-black groups want to hold on to their racist paradigms while at the same time still be considered as benevolent and
righteous, right?
And righteous people,
right? You don't want to constantly be
reminded that you did this. You don't want to, like, you're right. He and you are right.
Yeah, you want to do it and constantly be reminded of it, because he said it creates that feeling
tension.
Of cognitive dissonance. Yeah.
Yes.
And then when it comes to, like, when it comes to, especially with a lot of these, women and whatnot, and I don't necessarily agree with you fully, but when you said that a lot of quote unquote non-black women, believe in white supremacy, it's like those women that believe in it, it's like you want to believe in it and still it's the same thing with them.
Yep.
You don't want to constantly be reminded of the fact that yes, you are mentally weak. Yes, you are a coward. Yes, you are a put it this. Yes, you are a hoe. Yes, you're weak-minded. Yes, you're a coward.
No,
yes,
the best way I can put it is this: is that women want the benefits of a patriarchy, right? Or better yet, women want men who are objectively better than them, but don't want those men to remind them that I'm better than you.
Yep.
And that's where women have this dissonance. It's like, oh, I want you to be better than me, but I also want you to treat me as if I'm integral to how things work. I'm like, that shit ain't gonna work. Pensive said black men are anti-homo as well, as hell. Like I said, like, I don't personally, for me, I don't think I would care if a character that I was playing as was gay like that. I don't think I would really care. It hasn't happened yet. I don't think I would care though. In this case, I don't know how to feel about it, because I know for a fact that this case with Yusuke is literally just a a reach because you have no speculation to assume he wasn't straight. So for you to make the call to make him gay is just like, why? You know? But
Yeah.
I know other black men aren't going to give this the nuance that I'm giving it. They're like, oh, that nigga's gay. I'm out of here.
Yeah. And
So
really, when it comes to the whole I find it interesting too when they always want to complain about so-called black men being homophobic. I find it very interesting because it's like if you really look at how most niggas feel, I mean, yeah, you have a few examples of dudes that are like legitimately just like violent stuff like that, and low key like kind of overcompensating for any like secret feelings of like you know how can I put this? Yeah, you have your P Diddy type niggas, you know what I mean, that are like mentally unhinged to hide the fact that they're just
gay.
bisexual. Exactly. But I'm like, what is it what I think the reason why they're obsessed with calling so-called black men homophobic is this, right? Most most niggas are straight, and like nothing you do is gonna change their mind, and that's the problem that like again the communists and the feminists have. You know what I mean? Because they want to try to, like you said, co-opt our struggle, and then most dudes are just coming out and saying, "Hey, bro, listen, I'm not with the gay shit, dog. Like, if you want to be gay, that's fine. Like, I get it. Good luck with the marriage and stuff like that. Just like do that over there, respectfully."
No, no, and the thing about it, right, Kev, is that honestly, you can't respectively. First of all, sub Freeman Journal, how you doing? How you doing? Yes, pensive, you're right. On the threat hierarchy of society, gay men are just seen as a different type of bitch, and they know that. So
Yep.
on that threat hierarchy, it's like women and lesbians are seen as the least threatening group. Then right under them are gay men.
Yep. Which is
Then right under the gay men are Asian men. Then under the Asian men it's a tie between white between black and Hispanic men. And then white men should be at the bottom with black men and Hispanic men as seen as most threatening. But due to 400 years of good PR, they skipped the line to be not only at the top as least threatening, but also as most threatening simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's yeah, but yeah, and I also said that too. I'm like, the reason why these women call straight men like you and me, the reason why they call us gay as an insult is because they
Yep.
see gay and bisexual men as inherently weak and inferior men.
Yep.
That's the reason why. So.
And gay and bisexual men know that, but
Yep. But
it
if you
is
say
what
that
it
out
is.
loud,
Yeah,
if you say that out
if you
loud,
say that out loud, both parties will deny it. They'll say,
Yep.
"Oh no, that's not true. That's not true." And I always tell women this shit. It's like, look, if you're using terms that are commonly associated to you as a way to insult me as a man, all you're doing is validating that you are the lesser things that I as a man should never want to be.
right. So yes. So it's one of those things where it's like, and then also too, whenever we want to have these conversations about, um, why, why, why everything in our quote unquote communities are so messed up, it's like, listen, you can either blame because this is especially true, when it comes to working class so-called black men. I'm like, listen, you can either blame all the ills of the so-called black community and hell, even American society. You can either blame the majority of the ills of the so-called black community in American society strictly on so-called black men, especially working class so-called black men. You can either do that, or you can tell the truth about how we got here to this point to begin with, but you can't do both. It's like you're going to have to pick a side, because if you acknowledge that there's been a multifaceted and multi-generational conspiracy to keep us as a permanent underclass in American society, and how we basically been under attack from all angles from decades, if not centuries, you can't then turn around and say, oh, well, the reason why you're in this situation is because of your lack of masculinity. It's like, nigga, what? Like, you literally just admit that you set me up to get fucked over and robbed and potentially killed, but then you want to say it's my fault for not quote unquote being man enough. Like, bro, like you can't have it both ways. It's kind of like saying, Izzy, it's kind of like saying, well, the reason why 20 of us jumped you at the same time is because you wasn't man enough to fight off 20 people at once, not realizing how fucking insane it is. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you're right. What did Pensive say? Yeah, I didn't mean to imply black men are violently homophobic. I mean, look, it's not even about the it's not even that. It's just that, look, in this timeline, right? That's the thing. In this timeline, in this universe, in this galaxy, in this planet that we are right now, in this moment, the overwhelming majority of mankind and just mammalian species and even non-mammal species holds a sexual proclivity of heterosexuality. So all things outside of that binary are going to be seen as other, and there's no way around that.
Yeah.
So black men not wanting to engage, see, or even invest in things that diverge from that proclivity, it ain't gonna go anywhere. It's not. And it's not just. And even if you took black men off the earth, it still wouldn't go anywhere, because these white guys ain't gonna do it. These Asian guys ain't gonna start doing that shit. These Mexican guys, they ain't gonna do it either. Humanity is straight. I'm sorry.
Because like I said, like you said again, the rainbow crowd, they've always been a small percentage of the human population, because like you said, it's like being straight, that's the default sexuality of humans. That's the default sexuality of humans. The simple reason why is because that's literally how we reproduce. That's how we survive. So, like, we wouldn't survive if the majority of us were like same sex loving. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. So
Pencil with that fight back, nigga. Oh man, that clip always cracks me up. Freedman Journal said, until they start to touch kids, then you gotta crowbar. Yeah, and I mean, the thing about it is that, look, like with the whole LGBTQ, I don't know why they're trying to. No, I do know why, but the reality is that they want to inoculate, and not inoculate. They want to inject. Yeah, there we go. They want to inculcate the LGBTQ, paradigms in these kids young, because then that way, by the time they're adults, there's gonna be less resistance towards these ideas and behaviors, because people my generation, they started that shit with us, so it's like a half and half. Half and half of my generation is like half and half of my generation is okay with it or not. But these younger kids, if they get them younger, it'll be different.
Yep. Same thing goes when it comes to the whole gender as a social construct thing. It's like you can tell, like, those of us that are like under the age of like 25, like like they believe in that shit wholeheartedly. Like,
they believe that shit wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
well,
it's just like, bro, like you don't realize, like,
like nah,
fucking lie. It's like, bro, like they're literally you're literally just showing how easily gullible and manipulated you are. Like, come on, dog.
Yeah, like 25 and up, we're like, sure. Sometimes below, and you can hear how they speak. They actually believe that shit. So,
Right.
but the thing about it though is that, like,
Yeah.
if you start bringing up, the thing about it though is that, like, the issue with how the LGBTQ wants to inculcate younger kids is that now the question becomes, why the fuck are you introducing sexuality to children? Because not even straight people do that shit.
Exactly.
You know, like,
Exactly.
we don't even bring up that shit to kids in general. The only argument you can make is that, okay, well, even though straight people don't, you know, actively bring up sexuality to their children, it's everywhere in the stimuli that children uptake. Which, again, I'm sorry, but the default sexuality of mankind is heterosexuality. So even if we don't talk about boys liking girls and girls liking boys, the media, the books, the stimuli around those children is going to always favor that, because that's what the general disposition of mankind is. I don't need to show my kid heterosexuality in the household. They can go to a bookstore and see a book where it'll have a mom and dad cover.
Exactly.
And that would read. I mean, the proper term that they use is cis heteronormativity, which is just that.
Which is interesting because the guy that came up with that term was a certified pedo. So
I mean, that's usually. I mean, wasn't it the Kenzie guy, the motherfucking homosexual scale, and he got that from interviewing pedophiles in prison. It's a whole bunch of shit. But you know, it's like as much as I understand the reality that because you're not straight, you shouldn't be villainized. At the same time, you're fighting a futile battle, because heterosexuality will always be the default, and it's just a basic numbers game. You're not going to overturn those numbers. There's gonna be more straight people who will make more straight content than you can make queer content to I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Again, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like they want to use like what is this? The fact that we respect people's privacy as an adult, you know, they want to abuse that, and they want to spill it, like you said, spill it over into trying to introducing that type of lifestyle to children. Which again, nobody wants to sit there and ask, why the fuck are you teaching this shit to children?
Yeah, why are you teaching? Yeah, because I mean, I'll tell you right now, growing up, my mother, my father, and no point in anywhere in my K through 12 schooling was the ideas of sexual preference, of straight sexual preferences part of curriculum. They weren't. The only thing that was, even in regards to sex, was literally having safe sex with, you know, the fucking sex ed. That was it.
Right, exactly.
But nothing about, okay, are you straight? Are you agender? Are you queer? Are you bisexual? None of that shit. No drag queens reading books to me type shit. None of that shit. You know, so it is what it is. I didn't even see my mom and dad kiss growing up like that. So,
right. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah. So I mean, hey, it's unfortunate, man. And then
Pensive. Wait, hold that thought. Pensive said, you are more progressive than 70% of black men. Yes, I know. Hell, if you're saying only in America, yeah, definitely. If you're talking about in West Africa, make that number like 95. Not even kiss? No. I didn't even see my parents kiss. I want to remember if I did, but I don't want to, have my brain create a false memory and shit. So I'm also gonna say no. But then fair. Think about it now. That's probably why I have problems showing intimacy because I never saw it. So maybe that's a whole therapy session to have. But it is what it is.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, man. Overall, yeah, like you say, it's what it is. Like you say, it's just a gross violation of boundaries. And like you said, they want to violate the boundaries, but then not experience the consequences of doing it.
Yeah, like
they want to divorce themselves from the consequences.
Yeah, like you think these parents are gonna allow you to teach their kids about gay sex? Especially when some of these parents don't even want their kids knowing what straight sex is. Okay.
Yep. And then also to go back to your point, right? When people want to talk about the whole gender dynamic, again, I was talking about this with one of my friends. It's like, again, when you have these conversations, it's like a lot of these like white guys and a lot of these like non-black men, they don't want to admit that the reason why things are so fucked up, especially here in America, or are really in quote unquote the Western countries, is because literally, because they thought that either being white or being an immigrant was going to protect them from the fallout of like all these like gynocentric and misandrous like laws and social engineering and stuff like that. Like they really believe that. Like if you look at the literature and whatnot and the talking points, they literally believe that they were immune from it. Like no,
that's why I always say with this whole like manosphere, red pill shit, I just see white men and non-black men as fodder. As long as you can keep the eyes in the sky from targeting black men, go ahead. Because I know for a fact, if the government came to white men today and said, "Hey, look, we'll undo all the bullshit we did to y'all, but only y'all. If y'all, start pushing our ideals, for a fact these white dudes are selling out."
Yep.
So.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Like I said again, right? They don't want these issues to be resolved across the board. They want to be resolved
for themselves. For them. Yeah. So like I'm not over like here.
Said, like they want to be born in the end zone. They want to be born in the end zone. They want to be born in the end zone in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Up 21 with like 3 minutes to go in the game. You know what I mean? They want to be born in the end zone.
Yeah, like
when it comes to like relationships and stuff, like they don't want to have to. They feel like they shouldn't have to work for anything.
Friedman, that is crazy, Friedman. I couldn't even. That's crazy. That's insane. But no, I mean, I'm almost certain that's probably why I have that. That's probably why I find exhibiting intimacy a little awkward, and maybe even receiving it. Because I didn't see it modeled by my parents towards each other. So that's probably why. But then again, that's a very common thing amongst African parents that they're not very lovey-dovey like that. At least to their kids anyway. Let me see. What was another question here? How did you grow up? You know what's funny? I think so. When I think about it, right? At first, when I was in high school and everything, I went through that stage of when I thought, gayness, all that shit was disgusting, right? And then because I have a stutter and I have ADHD, I'm very quiet. Or like I'll go for periods of time where I'm not talking at all. And in those periods of time, I'm really just talking to myself in my head. So I think as time went on from high school up until now, I like have the conversation with myself, like, okay, let me think about this. Like, two guys are gay. Why do I care? Like, fundamentally, why do I care? Like, fundamentally, right? And essentially, I talked to I just had that conversation with myself to really figure out that, okay, well, two guys being gay doesn't affect me unless they make it affect me. So, and more importantly, even if I don't care about them being gay, I don't want to see that shit. Irregardless of what they choose, I don't want to see that shit. You know? So.
Yep. So, but yeah, overall, man, again, going off the offensive thing, I think, Ezzy, I think how you think is how at least most of us think nowadays. It's like, listen, man, I don't care what you do as long as you're not preying on children or promoting that stuff to me and trying to hit on me. Like,
I don't give a shit. Like, as long as I can turn on, like, if I ever do watch TV again, as long as I can turn on TV and see straight programming, I'm fine.
Right.
Because quite frankly, even if given the choice, I don't want to watch gay shit.
Right.
If I have the choice. And the thing about it too is that there's also that I had to like really come to grips with too, is that, like, as much as people talk about, being open and exclusive, I want y'all to ask yourselves this question. When you have kids, right? If you haven't have them, and you think to yourself, oh, I can't wait, of all the things, of all the aspirations you have for that child, being gay isn't one of those aspirations. Honestly, for most people, their child not being straight is like a fuck. Okay, I'll take it, but damn.
Exactly. It's like, well, I wasn't expecting that, but I mean, here we go.
Yeah, it's like it could be worse, but okay, I'll take it. And right. I had that realization. I think maybe when I was like a sophomore, they're like, oh yeah, cause I think it was because we were talking about designer babies and people like augmenting their babies pre-utero to be what they want to be. And I asked myself, like, okay, so like let's say society gets to that point where literally you have the embryo, the sperm and egg is mixed and everything, and now the doctor's like, okay, what traits do you want your baby to have? Do you want it to have blue eyes? Do you want it to be 6 foot tall? You want it to have a disposition towards building muscle faster, intelligence,
okay, so almost like
being
Gattaca.
smart. Yeah, Gattaca, right? And I said, okay, let me think about this, right? If humanity progresses any further than to that point, right, do we honestly believe that there'll be people who will decide, and let's just say, like, even if we did find a gay or straight gene, right, do we honestly believe that in a future where you can design your children from like genetic CRISPR coding up front, that people would say, okay, yeah, give my kid the gay gene? No one's saying that shit. Like, only a few people would, and it'd be more likely women who would say that goofy shit. But no one's saying, oh yeah, so in my baby, I want to have high intelligence, hazel eyes, be at least 5'10", a good hair growth gene, a good disposition towards building muscle but staying lean, an anti-obesity gene, and make them bisexual. No one is adding that to the pros of having a child. No one is doing it. So when I had that realization, it was like, okay, yeah, all I can do is tolerate it, because like, even it's like I'm not a god, so even if I don't like the LGBTQ, it doesn't matter what I don't like. They still exist. So then, what's the point? Right? Like I'm not a god. Like I can be like, fucking Thanos snap and snap. I can't do that shit, right? Even if I really was against gays like that, it's not like my discretion will somehow make them be A-list gay or exist, right? So I was like, okay, that's just like that feeling of I don't like them, like that disappeared when I was in high school, and then it went from like, okay, they exist, to be like, okay, they exist, to be like, oh damn, I feel bad because shit, I know for a fact that as much as society says it's okay, people don't really believe that shit, because if they were given the opportunity to build their own kid, they ain't picking gay. And even in that thought, I had to accept too that on a real fucked up level, there'd be black people who wouldn't make their kids dark skinned if they had a choice.
Well, I think what it is too is again, and I'm sure you would say it. I think it's mainly an issue with the women, because it's going to be an issue with some dudes, right? But I think kind of like most so-called black men have, I guess you could say, are quote unquote black pilled. You know what I mean? Especially over like these last few generations, where it's just like, listen, bro, no matter what I do, no matter what I say, you're never gonna fully accept me. Or just try to say, most of us have kind of accepted the fact that we're never gonna be white no matter what we do. So the whole desire to be white, quote unquote, to be white is just for the most part, it's completely disappeared, because it's just like it's never gonna happen. So and then even if it did, it's like you wouldn't feel authentic. You know what I mean? So, but I think what it is too is
pensive. Wait, hold that thought. Let me read this question here. Friedman Journal said all that talk about gauging went away when they started talking about being able to select for sex preferences. Yeah, you're right. It did, because again, the moment you isolate, if we ever do fully unlock the human genome to where we can find the genetic combination proteins for certain traits and also remove certain traits from an embryo, no one is picking the gay. No one is picking the gay, bisexual, transgender, or no one's picking the genetic sequence that provides that genotype. No one's adding that to the CRISPR line. And it's the same. And I honestly, let me not say no one's adding that. Most people aren't adding that to their kid. And like Pensive said, yeah, if gene editing gets that good, I could definitely see, like, one of Saturn's planets being an all gay planet where it was supported by gene editing. I can definitely see that. But Pensive said, in reality, there may be an entire gay societies in the future supported by gene editing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in my opinion, it'll be a thing they have to police. We say, yeah, absolutely. Because the issue with designer babies is an issue of that we, as much as we understand about evolution, we also understand that evolution is like playing, like, has anyone ever played the game Jenga?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay, so imagine
like blocks. Yeah, like everything goes to shit.
Okay, so imagine playing Jenga, but but the tower itself is invisible, and the only part you can see is the part you're at. That's what evolution is. We don't see how the rest of the tower is stacked. So me moving this piece, for all I know, it could be a piece that completely fucks the tower up. or it could be a piece that makes the tower start wobbling, but I can't see it because I don't know until it happens. That's the fear, and that's the reality of gene editing, is that we don't know what that tower will look like once you start making gene edited babies. Because who's to say that once we gene edit against a certain disease, right, that disease through conjugation doesn't jump a species and mutate itself. And then now, because it's a mutated form of a disease inside of the body of a person whose gene code is stronger than the average person, now that virus or bacteria becomes supercharged by proxy of being in the body of a superior human being. And then now lesser human beings genetically don't have the immune systems to fight back this new enhanced virus because it was inside the body of an enhanced person. It's that kind of shit. Or it's like how, for example, some scientists are theorizing trying to get rid of mosquitoes by creating mosquitoes that can't reproduce. So they want to create mosquitoes that can't reproduce and then send them out into the world to find other mosquitoes to breed with that'll pass on that non-reproductive gene.
Yeah. The only problem, is that you kind of need mosquitoes, to like maintain ecological balance. So it's
and so you're supposed to make sure you mention that, because some scientists also theorize too that like mosquitoes' roles in the ecosystem are just to keep it under control. They're just to be killers. Let me read the rest of this. Dark BM baby sounds like Dark James Earl Jones. Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah. The designer shit could get that crazy where, like, maybe some of these celebrities sell their sperm and egg at the highest bidder, and then a company keeps it cataloged and then breaks down their genome for specific traits that are desirable. So it's like you'd have Michael Jackson's talent, James Earl Jones's voice. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, well, I want a baby that has Michael Jackson's dance ability and his singing voice, and James Earl Jones's deep baritone, and then a Jaimin Hunsu's dark skin. Yeah, like I said, designer babies are like, once you can give me the choice to pick what I want, you're going to see what society values and does it very quickly.
Yeah. So, overall, it's like, but going back to that point before I kind of get off here. But yeah, like you said, I think with most so-called black men, I think most of us are quote unquote black pilled, in the sense where it's like, we kind of know no matter what we do, we're never going to be white. So it's just like, basically, most of us have basically just kind of said, fuck it. Fuck it. I'll just take the money then. You know what I mean? Fuck being white. Fuck trying to, fuck trying to be, live like the white American, trying to be accepted in the white America. Just give me my money and just leave me alone. Like, that's how most of us kind of like secretly want to move deep down. It's like, give me my money and just leave me the fuck alone. Whereas with a lot of the women, it's like, they still want to pine. They still want to be that Miss Anne. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a lot of non-white women still co-sign white supremacist ideals. Yeah. Hell, a lot of non-white men still do it too. In fact, to what you said, the only group of men who showed the most resistance towards white supremacist ideals are black men.
Yep.
Because again, we can't hide into it. So there's no point in accepting it, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like what Friedman Journal said, fuck you, pay me. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we know that no matter what we're gonna do, it's like no matter what you're gonna do, it's two things. It's like number one, you're never gonna be accepted, and it's like number two, it's like these people are always gonna try to copy and steal whatever creative things that you try to come up with. So because of those two things that most of us are kind of blackpilled to, it's just like, well, why the fuck should I try to be accepted by y'all when it's like either number one, you guys aren't going to accept me, and then number two, it's like you're going to take anything creative that I come up with, either do it in culture, right, and then try to co-opt it and try to say that you did it and try to pass it off as your own. So it's like, again, like the Blackwood Freeman Journal said, the fuck you pay me. Most of us are kind of in that mode now. Fuck you, pay me.
Pensive, you are crazy. We all know Tyreek Hill was signed up. And Nick Cannon too. Shut the fuck up. What did Pensive say again too? The answer could be to do a massive amount of experiments in labs on isolated spaces, maybe on separate moons and planets. Okay, see, here's the problem with that, right? Evolution is a multifaceted progress that takes in and is determined by three key factors: immediate environment, your passive environment, and the response to your immediate environment. So what do I mean by that, right? So, for example, if we all lived on the moon right now, we would weigh less, and by proxy, we would also jump higher. Why? Okay, see you later then, Kevin.
Yep, peace. Yep.
Yeah. So we would weigh less, and by proxy of that, we would also jump higher. But why though? Because our bodies, being born on Earth and being confined to Earth's gravity, that I think Earth's gravity is 9.8 meters per second, right? Of gravity, it's pulling effect, right? So being born on Earth since birth, embryonically too, right? From our mothers and our fathers, we have a predisposition to handle Earth's gravity. Earth's gravity is more than the moon. So if you went to the moon, we'd be able to overcome the moon's gravity to a greater degree. And by proxy of that, that would affect our genetics epigenetically. So then if you stayed on the moon, maybe after 3 or 4 generations, your children's children will no longer have the epigenetic advantage that came from being born on Earth. They would have genetically adopted to the conditions of being on the moon. I say that because even if you went to a separate moon or planet, that planet's passive environment would eventually affect the progeny that would be experimented on. So, and we still, and by proxy of that, we don't know how that new environment's passive effects on the genome would present in its phenotype or its descendants. But that's a whole lot of biology mumbo jumbo that most people probably didn't understand. But a long story short, your planet has a direct correlation to how you as a animal exist, and that's just the passive effects. The direct effects would be instances of accident, like a tsunami happening, or you're on an island somewhere. So now because you're on an island, you have to adapt towards scavenging island stuff versus being inland and scavenging on the inland. I'm trying to leave Earth's orbit, so to speak. You trying to get high, Friedman? Is that what you're trying to say? She's trying to get zooted. Let me see. Friedman said, honoring contracts is respect between men. I don't care if you like me, pay me. As long as you honor the contract, we are good. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Then we terraform moons ahead of time. Very true. That could work, but well, yeah, that could work if the moon is like relative size to the Earth, because terraforming a moon that's smaller than Earth wouldn't change its issue of gravity, unless you also plan to create like artificial gravity on that moon to mimic Earth's gravity, which is then there's that. Lion, did you still want to come up? If not, it looks nice up here. Let me tell you, but I gotta bounce. Time to check out the Red Planet. Oh God, stay safe, Freeman. Stay safe. Any last comments? Anything? I'm about to close it up for the night. It's not even almost. It's 1:10 in the morning right now. So I'm going to probably chop this stream up into different sections. Have a great night, Freeman. Last call going once. Last call going twice. Last call. I said that shit backwards. Last call done. Thank you to all everybody that came in. Drop a like, leave a comment. Cash App will be in the. Oh wait, hold up. What happened? Hold up. What happened to? What happened to? Go ahead. How long till the West affects that shit? Honestly, the West really won't be the ones to affect that shit, because here's the problem. How can the West be the ones to affect that shit if in the West 18-year-old girls can be prostitutes and it'd be completely legal? How can the same country that has essentially a legalized prostitution ring that starts as early as you're 18 and that legally allows it, going to then tell another country that their age consent around teenagers is wrong? How? Especially when in several countries, especially when in several different states in the U.S., there's Romeo and Juliet laws. How? The only way that would make any sense to really even be legitimate is if somehow the United States went full gynocracy and essentially implemented these one-sided age gap laws that infantilize women but hyper-visualize men. So where it's like, a woman is a child at 21 years old, a type shit. I mean, yeah, even with you're right, but remember, people still don't like the fact that that Tengen has 3 wives. So look at how the goalpost moved, right? When it was teen shit, they didn't like it. Fair enough. Then when you have a character in the show that has 3 wives, you still have Americans, or better yet, you still have Western audiences that still have a problem with it. The reality is, as long as there's media that shows a man in a differential power gap between, as long as there's media that portrays men in a differential power dynamic with women, Western sensibility will always find that problematic, because at its core, the West doesn't like the idea of a power gap between women, while simultaneously liking the power gap between women, because women like the power gap between men and women. Tengen having 3 wives is tame compared to a lot of manga. You're right, but Western audiences still complain that he had 3 wives. I remember vividly seeing people be like, "Oh my gosh, he has 3 wives." Oh my! I remember seeing vividly Western American fans of that shit still having issues with that. Because at the end of the day, in Western ideas, relationships where there is a power dynamic that's not equal between the man and the woman bothers Westerners, because Westerners have this false assumption that a power gap that favors men is inherently inappropriate, while simultaneously knowing that women seek out power dynamics where the man has more power. It's the same reason why people give shit to Leonardo DiCaprio for dating young women, but never ask these young girls, why do y'all keep on signing up to date Leo, knowing when you're 25 he's gonna leave you? You'll never hear the people who keep track of who Leo. You'll never hear the people who keep track of who Leo DiCaprio dates and leaves ask these women he's dating, why do y'all keep on lining up to date him, knowing he's not going to marry you, knowing he's not going to have kids with you, and knowing that once you hit 25, you're out of there. You're never going to hear these people ask those girls those questions. You're never going to, because the Western society fully believes that women should be able to seek out relationships where the power, the dynamic is not equal, while simultaneously condemning men for being in those kind of relationships in the first place. It's the same reason why recently some weirdo said that on Twitter, said some wild shit about how, we need to end the men, like because I think recently Tobey Maguire went on a red carpet party and he had this mixed Asian girl as his date, and she was like 18 or something. I think it's like she was like out of 18 or 21, and he's 49. Some weirdo on Twitter was like, "Oh, we have to outlaw this shit." But those people will never ask the question of why is that. Those same people will never ask that girl, why are you trying to be with a man who's 49 and you're 18? They'll never ask her that. Even though again, remember, 18 is an adult, right? So again, America has no place to question the consent laws of other countries within reason, because this is the same country that has OnlyFans. This is the same country that if a girl turned 18 today, won't say anything if she makes OnlyFans right now. It'd be the equivalent of a crackhead trying to scold a heroin addict. Oh, listen, America's Puritanism knows no bounds. They'll police. You're right. They'll try. They'll try and they'll fail. They'll try and they'll fail. I mean, shit. America is about to. America just tried to have an Indian Republican representative, and then is planning to elect a half Indian woman as president, all while knowing that India is a depraved country as far as gender relationships. Man, Ted is another cool. Yeah, he is. No, and I've said that too. Is that I've said that too. Is that look, this whole people on both sides of this 18-year-old argument don't believe 18 is a legal adult. They don't believe that, and they don't believe that for women. They believe an 18-year-old boy is a man. They believe that shit all day. But an 18-year-old girl can't be an adult yet. So really, what they just need to do is that the only way America would have the stance to be able to force Japan to move away from teenagers, or at least make these teenagers 18 years old, is if America raises its age of consent to 21. Because it doesn't make sense how at 16, if I have driver's classes, I can drive a car. At 18, I can join the army and kill a man at war, or I can take out student loans and put myself in debt. But at 21 is when I can drink alcohol. It makes no sense. Just make it all 21. That way at 21, there's no room to say, "Oh, she can't have consent. Oh, she's still a baby." Because you've seen that shit too. Oh, she's still too young and doesn't know any better. Once make it 21, there'll be no room to say that she didn't know anything. But America won't do that because America still relies on. America won't do that because America, like every other country, still relies on young people to support the older people. So the longer you push back young people being able to be full adults, the more you have to push back everything else for older people to extract from young people. And this is the same reason why in Japan and Korea, they're going to run into a serious problem where you have all these old people essentially leeching off of a very small minority of young people. They'll fail epically. Just look at the Catholic Church. And they did, and all they did to stop exactly. Yeah, and you can legally carry at 18, but I can't drink alcohol at 18. You see, it's like it doesn't make sense. And the reason why is because a Western society doesn't like seeing relationships where the power dynamic is very visibly in the favor of the man, because Western society has an inherent bias against men to where they see that dynamic and say, oh, something must be going on wrong, or oh, something might be going on wrong. But simultaneously, while they have that inherent bias, they also fully are aware and allow young women to feed into their desires about being in relationships with men who have higher status and higher power than they do in relationships. It's literally like you trying to sell me candy and then slapping my hand and saying, "Hey, aren't you diabetic?" It's like, yeah, but why give me candy then? You'll never hear any of these stories about how these girls are talking to overage guys. You'll never hear them ask the girl, "Why are you talking to a man that's older than you?" Because let's not act like these girls don't know the age of consent is 18 too. These girls know 18 is I'm an adult. Everyone know, like everyone from the age of like 16 and up knows, oh, at 18 I'm an adult. Everyone does. So these girls know they're not adults going after men who are adults. Or these girls know they just turned 18. So now they go after men who are older than them. But no one will ever ask the girls who go after Leonardo DiCaprio, why are you going after Leonardo DiCaprio? Why? You'll never see anyone make a tweet saying, ladies, why do all y'all try to date Leo knowing he won't commit to you? Why? I mean, you know, or like for example, with the Drake and that what's her name, Millie Bobby Brown girl. That girl knows Drake is like damn near 30. She knows that shit. But no one is asking her, Millie, why are you talking to Drake? So let me get this straight. A girl can act in a insanely famous TV show, make millions, and be an actress, but now you can't question her as to why he's talking to older men. Stop it. It's really they just want to control it. It's a trap. Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. It's a trap. The West wants to create a dating environment where you know what it is? The West wants to create a dating environment like that of the French, where in France, not only can you not do a paternity test, but abortion is completely legal. They want to create an environment where you as a man, you have no say and no options and no flexibility in anything. But the women will have all the flexibility and the optionality to do what they want. The women can approach and try and date whoever they want at any age, knowing good and goddamn well what the law says. But you as the man, now you have to, on some ultra instinct shit, duck and dive. Because they know what it is. they know that this is their opportunity to actually meet a superstar. Exactly. But appreciate it, guys. It was a good live, 3 hours worth of shit talking. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's been my last video was like 2 months ago. I took a break, working 2 jobs and shit. I'll be back for the rest of the year. Let's close out this last quarter of the year on a strong foot. Stay healthy. Enjoy y'all Friday. Enjoy y'all Saturday night, and have a great Sunday and a great weekend. Peace.